Please subscribe math.com for any query, comment or email.
Today we will discuss what is Cartesian plane and what are the different quadrants of the Cartesian plane and how you can represent a certain point in the Cartesian plane. So, but first we will see what is Cartesian plane. It is a plane that specifies the position of an ordered pair by two perpendicular axes. So this is just a definition. Let's draw the plane so that we can easily understand it. This is a Cartesian plane that is made up of two perpendicular axes. Let's label it. This is y-axis, that is negative y-axis. This is positive y-axis. This is x-axis. This is negative x-axis. Okay. So this is a Cartesian plane where we have two lines that are perpendicular to each other and they meet each other at the origin. This is the origin. This is called origin, where the value of the ordered pairs, that is x and y, is 0, 0. Okay. So this y-axis and x-axis, together they are called as coordinate axes. Okay. So that's all about the Cartesian plane, how it looks like. This is the Cartesian plane and having the x-axis and y-axis together, x-axis and y-axis together, they are called coordinate axes. On one side of the origin we have the positive values and on the other side we have the negative values. Like if I'll write, this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 and this is negative y-axis, as y-axis is the vertical axis. 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to so on, and these are all negative values. Okay, so if we move above the origin in the vertical position, we will have a positive y-axis. When we move downward from the origin, we will have a negative y-axis. Now we will talk about the x-axis. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and so on, and this is the negative x-axis. 2 3 4 5 6 7 up to minus. All the values on the left side of the origin will be negative and on the right side of the origin will be positive. So we have two negative axes and two positive axes. It means one positive x-axis, one positive y-axis, and one negative x-axis and one negative y. Now this Cartesian plane is basically divided into four parts. So first part is this. This is quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 3. And this is quadrant 4. Now what are these quadrants? Let's discuss them one by one. So these are the four quadrants. What does the quadrant mean? Basically, quadrants are the portions of the Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane is basically divided into four portions. But on the basis of what it is divided? It is divided on the basis of the value of x and y. In the quadrant 1, you will notice that what we have x, that is positive. This x is in the quadrant 1 and this y is in the quadrant 1. It means in the quadrant 1, x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0. It means both x and y are positive in the quadrant 1. So we will write in the table that in quadrant 1, x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0. Where greater than 0 means they are positive. Okay, and this means both x and y are positive. Okay, so this was about quadrant 1. Now what about the quadrant 2? It is clear from the quadrant 2 that this y-axis is being shared between quadrant 1 and 2. This means in quadrant 1 and 2 the value of y will be same. That means y will be greater than 0. It is obvious. But the x-axis is not shared. Now the x-axis is the negative one. Okay. So that means when the x is in the negative form or when x is less than, that means x is less than 0. So here in quadrant 2 we have x is less than 0. Okay. So we'll write in the table as x is less than 0 and y is greater than 0. That means x is negative and y is positive. Okay. So this means that all the numbers or the ordered pairs where we will get x positive, x negative and y positive, we will plot that ordered pair in this quadrant, in the quadrant 2. Okay, now we'll move towards the quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is shared with the quadrant 2. But what is shared with the quadrant 2? The x-axis is shared. It is clearly shown here that this axis is being shared between 2 and 3. That means x-axis will be the same as the quadrant 2. That means x is less than 0. So we'll write it straightly. But what about the y-axis? Now here we have this y-axis where the value of y is less than 0. That is in negative. So we can say that y is less than 0 in the quadrant 3. So we'll write in the table that x is less than 0 and y is also less than 0. It means that both the value of x and y in third quadrant will be negative. Now we will move towards the quadrant 4, where it is clearly shown that the x-axis is shared with quadrant 1. It means the value of the x will be the same as quadrant 1. So we can say that x is greater than 0. Okay, and the y-axis is shared with the quadrant 3, where the value of y is less than 0. This means the value of y in the quadrant 4 will be less than 0. Okay, so you will write here as this: x is greater than 0 and y is less than 0. Okay, that means x will be positive and y will be negative. So this is all about the quadrants. What are quadrants? Why do we use the quadrants? Because when we came across the when we plot the ordered pairs, then we can if we know about the quadrants, that where the x is greater than 0, where the y is greater than 0 or less than 0, you can easily plot them and you can easily understand the area where you can put that point. If I'll ask you, plot the point, here we'll take example as plot the point 4 minus 3. Okay, now 4 minus 3 is an ordered pair. 4 is the value of x and minus 3 is the value of y. Now you have to see that in which quadrant x is positive and y is negative. Okay, so x is positive and y is negative in the fourth quadrant. Okay, it means that 4 and minus 3 point will be plotted in this fourth quadrant area. Okay, so 4 and minus 3. 4 is the x, this is the value of 4 and minus 3 is this. So we can say that the required point is here. Okay, here. So this means this is the point where we have 4 and minus 3. Okay, that is in the fourth quadrant. Same is the case if we say if I will say plot 3 and 4. Now here both x and y are positive. So which was that quadrant in this three? Both are positive. That is quadrant number 1. Okay, so you can easily plot 3 and 4 by taking the positive values together. Okay, so this is how you can use the quadrant in order to plot the ordered pairs with a different sign. So you can easily differentiate between them in which ordered pair will lie in which quadrant. Okay, so whenever you are going to plot the points in the quadrant plane, then the points can be at two places. Keep this in mind, a very important point. Where I'll write that point here, that if each point in the Cartesian plane can be found in two places. One position will be the fourth quadrant. Okay, then what will be the other position where a point can lie? Now you will start thinking about it. What can be the other position, as we have all covered all the positions in the quadrants? Yes, there comes the position when the point lies on the axis, now it could be x or y. Okay, because we talked about that x is greater than 0, y greater than, we have talked about the inequalities in all the four quadrants. We have not discussed if x is equals to 0 or y is equals to 0. What will happen then? It means your point can also lie on the axis. Okay, in the quadrants the point is lying on like this position or at this position or at somewhere else. But when I will say plot x is equals to plot a point, like if I'll give you the example 3 0, how you will be able to plot this point? Here the value of x is 3 and the value of y is 0. So x is 3 here, this is 3, but where is y equal to 0? This means whenever you have y is equals to 0, it means the point will be on x-axis and whenever you have a x equals to 0, the point will be on y-axis. Okay, so your point 3 0 will be here. This is the point that is on the axis. Okay, this means each point in the Cartesian plane can be found at two places. One is is anywhere in the quadrants, or and the other on the axis. It could be on the x-axis or it could be on the y-axis. So if we take the example of y-axis, I'll say plot this point 0 and 3, where x is 0 and y is 3. We will say this is 3, but where is x is 0? It means when x is 0, you have to plot the point on the axis. It means y-axis. So we will plot it here. This is the point. So that's all about the quadrants, how you can identify a certain point lie in which quadrant, and the point can also lie on the axis. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe our channel math.com for more updates. Thank you.